आ जाएगी अभी. Okay. Now we'll again do the Shri Harim Paramanandam. इसमें मैं बोलूंगी, आप लोग फॉलो करना. I'll say the whole line. Shri
Okay.
Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtaramishwaram
श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरम्
Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham.
व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्.
Yes, now we'll go to verse. Suddenly it has changed. Okay. We'll go to verse number 17. No, 16. Okay. Ahamekopi sukshmascha jnata sakshi sadavyayah.
अहमेकोऽपि सूक्ष्मं च ज्ञाता साक्षी सदव्ययः.
Tadaham natra sandehah vicharasuyamidrishaha.
तदहं नात्र सन्देहो विचारसोऽयं दृशम्.
Atma vinishkalo hyekah deho bahubiravritaha.
आत्मा विनिशो आत्मा
Vinishkalo.
आत्मा विनिष्कलो एक देहो बहुभिरावृतः.
Tayoraikyam prapashyanti kimajnanamatah param.
तयोरैक्यं प्रपश्यन्ति किमज्ञानं मतः परम्.
Very nice. अभी फिर से हम शेयर करेंगे because I made something. We have to see if you can see it. तो just point form में कुछ लिखा है. तो अभी अंकल कैन यू रीड इट? किसको एक्सपैंड करूं?
There is no, it is all right. There is only one subject, I, and everything else is an object of I.
Yes. Okay. There is only one subject, meaning I is the same in everybody. And everything else is an object of I. Okay.
The subject I is effortless awareness, which is unchanging, self-evident, one free of all attributes, ever the subject, never the object, the ultimate adhishtanam of the universe, which illumines the world of objects, which include the body, mind, sense complex.
Yeah, this is only a summary. So I think there's nothing to explain here. It is the same thing that there is one awareness and it is effortless. I love this word, और मैंने वो इतने सारे गाने, आज वो गाना भी सुनाऊंगी कि सहज बोध ऐसे बता रहे हैं कि जो सहज है, जिसमें कोई तरह की प्रयत्न ही नहीं है, प्रयत्नहीन जो है, because effortlessly we know that I am there, I got let me quickly show you something. Okay, so now just watch my hand. Okay, I'm doing like this. You are seeing movement of this hand,
Fingers.
The fingers are moving. Now tell me, when now you do it with your fingers. Do with your finger, move the finger. Now there is awareness of fingers moving.
Yes.
Right? The fingers are moving, is awareness moving?
No.
Now we stretch that. Really assimilate this example. You are awareness. Fingers are moving in awareness. You are aware of the fingers moving, but the awareness you are is not affected by the fingers which are moving. The fingers are moving. Awareness is not moving. Now we stretch this example. Supposing you are in a car. Car is moving. Mean you are in a car means your body is sitting there in the car and the car is moving. Body is also moving. Is the awareness that you are moving?
We are not aware. Awareness is not moving.
Yeah,
We
I
are
mean, I
aware
want
of
to
the
see,
car moving.
yeah, we are aware of the car moving. We are aware that the body is also moving, which is in the car. Because in reference to the place, looking outside the window, we can see the body has moved forward. Eh? But, and that body is moving has taken place in awareness. In our awareness, nobody else's awareness, in our awareness only. Okay? That awareness in which the body's movement is noted, that awareness doesn't move. Anita, I
Like
want you to think
consciousness?
about that. Awareness and consciousness are same.
Yes, in Facebook also I read this.
Yeah, I put that thought. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that becomes very clear with this example.
Ah.
No, it becomes so clear. At least to me, it became very, very clear when I did this. And I said, oh my God, awareness में कोई movement नहीं होती. Okay. Now stretch it to thought. Thought is taking place in mind, in antakarana. Thought moves. Thought is coming, thought is going. There is movement of thought. Movement of thought is registered in awareness. The awareness that you are, the consciousness that you are, which is self-evident, which is you. Does the consciousness or awareness move when the thought moves?
No.
It does not move. Yeah, I just wanted to make this very, very clear. Spend time over this. And this makes it very clear. Awareness is motionless. There's no motion in awareness at all. No movement. Still. Naturally still. Why? It's all pervasive. Where can it move? It is still. Yeah? There is no. Therefore also akarta. Hand is doing something. Hand picked up this thing. This thing it picked up. Hand is karta. But awareness is not karta. Yeah?
Mhm.
Okay, now we continue with our. Okay, so we saw that. That it's ever the subject, never the object. Okay. Okay. Now, this was all there in that verse number, probably 16. We know something exists when we have a corresponding thought about it. No problem. To know that pot exists, yeah, Anita, you can read.
We know something exists when we have a corresponding thought about it.
Yeah.
To know that pot exists, there must be a pot thought.
Correct?
If pot thought, yeah. If pot thought is not there, the pot is as good as not there for you.
Yeah. Is that okay? Clear?
Yes.
Okay.
So pot and pot thought go together. Without pot thought, pot cannot be there, and vice versa for a
Correct.
normal person.
Yeah. Why normal person? Because abnormal person can project. Yeah? Okay.
So, substance of all nama rupa can be said to be thought. What is thought? Thought is but consciousness in the form of a thought. And thus, we say that the substance of the universe is consciousness.
Okay. Same
Yes.
thing we repeated last week. This thing. Same
Thus
thing
the,
we
on,
repeat again.
thus, the only real substance of the universe is consciousness. The universe cannot reveal its presence without thought of the universe. Thought must be illumined by consciousness. Universe is not separate from universe thought. Universe thought is not separate from consciousness. So all that there is consciousness which is I, which is Brahman.
Is that okay? Or you need...
Yes.
Good. Okay. Now, Uncle Ji, read this.
Okay.
We don't see ourselves as absolute peace, Shantam, absolute sacredness, Shivoham,
Shivam.
Shivam,
Shantam.
Advaitam, absolute fullness because of ignorance. Ignorance causes adhyasa, mutual superimposition. It gives rise to the false I notion in the absence of the knowledge of the true nature of the I. Adhyasa, adhyasa occurs because of the absence of discrimination between the Atma self or the subject and Anatma non-self or the object.
Yeah, because of that.
Adhyasa results in the identification of the self or subject with non-self and or the object.
Yeah, adhyasa, why does it happen? Because of lack of viveka. Between the difference, what is the difference between Atma and Anatma? What is the difference between subject and object? The difference is not recognized, is not or taken for granted, or whatever the problem is, the difference is not seen. Okay. And because of this fact, what happens? There is this mutual superimposition, which is what is we call as identification. So now we are looking at what is the difference between the subject and the object. Yeah. So uncle will say subject, auntie will say object.
Okay.
You say one point, consciousness, then she will say jada. Subject is consciousness, like that.
Subject is Chetan. Subject.
Object.
It's jada, inert.
Uncle.
Subject illuminator. Prakashak.
Yes.
Object illuminate. Prakashya.
Illumine. Yeah,
Illuminate.
Prakashya. Uncle.
Subject is attributeless. Nirgun.
Yes.
Object has attributes. Saguna.
Yeah.
Subject free of all parts.
Yes.
Object has parts.
Subject is one.
Objects are many.
Yeah.
Subject is unchanging.
Object is changing.
Subject permanent. Nitya.
Object impermanent. Anitya.
Subject independent.
Yes.
Object is dependent.
It's
Subject
dependent
constant.
on what? Object is dependent on what?
Subject.
Yeah. One is it's dependent
कहीं
on
ना कहीं तो डिपेंड कर रहा है वो ना उसका अपना तो कुछ है नहीं.
Consciousness है ना.
Two type of dependence है इसमें.
हाँ.
First is it is dependent on local factors. For example, this item is dependent on, the material it is made of. It is made of some steel is there, some plastic is there, something is there. Local factors. But this itself cannot reveal itself without the presence of a conscious being. So it's dependent on consciousness also. Yeah. And the isness of this thing is dependent on the isness of consciousness. Iti. So it is dependent in a two-way form. Okay, uncle, subject is?
Constant.
Object is temporary.
Subject is Satyam.
Object is Mithya. वह मजाक game हो रहा है.
Yes. So not knowing this difference, that there is real difference between subject and object, adhyasa is taking place. Yeah. Okay. So Anita, you can read. The subject and object are completely different in nature. Now you read.
Yet there is mutual superimposition because of absence of the object, of the knowledge of the difference. The mutual superimposition leads to identification. When there is identification, you as thought become like the
Not as thought, you as though. That's a mistake. Huh?
Acha, you as though
Hmm.
become like the thing you are identified with.
Hmm.
For example, when watching a movie, you take on the feelings of the characters in the movie. Yes, this is good
Yes.
example.
Now turn to page 169 and read. Uncle will read the second paragraph.
Something also happens there. The
Something
mind
like
is a
that. Okay. Something like.
something. The mind is a movie and you are watching it. But then you lose yourself and get identified with the mind. You don't have to actually become the mind. You just have to identify with it. In the movie, you don't actually become the person on the screen, but you feel like that person does because you momentarily identify with them.
Hmm.
Atma does not become the body, but because of the identification, it feels as if it was the body. When we find that this in our life, it
Hmm.
shows that there is ignorance.
Yeah, that's all we want. Okay, we don't want anything else from this. Just to bring out that point that it's because of ignorance. Yeah. Then we come to this verse. Okay, verse number 17. Atma nishkalo hyekaha deho bahibhivravritah tayoraikyam prapashyanti kim ajnanamatah param. So Atma is vinishkalaha. It is visheshana nishkalaha. Means it is partless. Okay. And what kind of partless? Which can never, because it is partless, it cannot be affected by anything. Okay. And it is, it can never have parts. Okay. Then it is ekaha. Whereas what about the body? Body is many. And it's just not possible that when such changes, differences are there, that they can be taken as one. But still, because of ajnanam alone, this is happening. So now the next part is we are looking, because we had read this last time, the self is unaffected. Uncle, you want to read? You can look at my
So,
screen. Screen. I've just summarized what all we read.
Okay, okay. यहाँ से पढ़िए
Uncle, screen से पढ़िए.
this self is unaffected.
हाँ.
Self effortless consciousness is the witness of the body and its parts, the mind and its functions. It is free of all attributes of what is witnessed in the ever presence.
Hmm.
For example, like the crystal is unaffected by any colored cloth close to it.
Right? This is clear to us. We know the crystal example, and we know that crystal is not affected, even though the colored cloth is, the crystal looks like it is the same color as the cloth, but still, actually, the crystal is free of any color. In the same way, Atma may look like it is got the stain of, what is what's going on in the mind, but actually, it is completely free. Hmm? Now, Swamiji had taken example of space and pot and shown how space and pot are completely different. And yet there is a superimposition when we say pot space. Iti. So where the space if, is all pervasive, whereas the pot is limited to some location. Pot is in a chota location mein hai. I will wait for
Space
Anita.
is space is formless.
अनीता तो उठ के चली गई ना, तो अनीता को आने दो. हाँ. So space is all pervasive, whereas pot is limited to, we keep it in one place, limited to the location. Space is formless, but pot is having a form. Space is very sukshma, but pot is sthula, right? So even though space is completely different from pot, when we say pot space, we have identified the space as being within the pot.
Yes.
So my question to you, is there space within the pot or is the pot in space?
Pot in space.
Clear? Pot is in space. Yeah?
Space.
Okay. So it is the pot which is moving, not the space which is moving. Iti. And similarly, okay. Oops. Now when we come, now we'll come to our own this thing. Let's come here. Now we'll come to page 172. We saw that. Yeah. Now we come to we come to 173.
Yes,
Maya
second.
makes the impossible possible. So I will read a little bit.
Okay.
So this is impossible, you know. Then when things are completely different, how can there be superimposition? Pot space का भी superimposition हमने देखा. Body का भी we saw with Atma, though they are completely different. How is it possible? So Swamiji says, Maya makes the impossible possible.
Possible.
This impossible situation is created by Maya. Although this situation is impossible, it is experienced and there must be some reason for it. The reason is Maya, which at the individual level we call as ignorance. This manifests in one's life as taking oneself to be the body, which includes the gross and subtle bodies, the whole body-mind sense complex. Because the gross and subtle bodies are made up of many components, they are all inert objects and therefore they are not as real as I. He said unreal, I will say as real as I. I, on the other hand, am consciousness, the unchanging illuminator. In this way, many distinctions are there between this body and Atma. Even though I and the body have characteristics that are totally contradictory to each other, and there is no possibility whatsoever of I and the body being one and the same, that experience is still there. Everybody thinks I am the body. All religions take for granted that you are an individual. Then they show you how to be redeemed and so on. But Atma and Anatma, the self and the body, are they possess totally contradictory characteristics, and it doesn't make any sense at all for one to be taken as the other, but this is our experience. Life does not make sense because this basic thing doesn't make sense. The very notion of I doesn't make sense, and everything is built on that. As we saw in verse 14, Sankalpa Vividah Karta. The moment the notion of an individual, I, is created, then naturally there's Adhurapan, you know, and then you will say, I want this, I want that. And then the whole universe, Sankalpa, Avidya, Kama, Karma. The whole cycle of creation is there, okay, when the whole universe is created. So, Uncle, you can read.
The creation does not make sense. The basis of creation, the individual I, this individual I is illogical. So, how can you ever make sense of the creation at all? No scientist can make sense of it because it is all the product of Maya, which is Mithya. Mithya is that which does not lend itself to any kind of
logical reasoning.
Therefore, nothing can really make sense.
So we got one more definition of Mithya. Mithya is that which does not lend itself to any kind of logical reasoning. And therefore, nothing can really make any sense.
We try to make sense out of it in our personal lives, which is all right, since we have to do it that way anyway. We say that there is wife, husband, son, daughter, and this is right and that is wrong. We need these kind of rules, etc., for the sake of conducting ourselves and relating with each other and having some kind of order in the life. But if you look behind that also and ask, what do you mean by right and wrong? At that point, the Shastra says, you give up both dharma and dharma, give up sat asat, truth and untruth. Having done that, give up the giver also.
So 1 minute. Swamiji gives the verse below. Tyaja dharmam adharmam cha ube satyanrite tyaja ube satyanrite tyaktva yena tyajyasi tat tyaja. So meaning, it's very interesting. What does this mean? Because all this is name and form. Dharma, adharma is name and form, right? So he's saying, don't hold on to anything as the reality. None of this is the absolute reality at all. All of this is there. It is an appearance. So now you will say, okay, then I will give it up. ठीक है? जो भी है सबको मैं बोलती हूँ कि नहीं, this is not real, this is not real. Then he says, the one who is saying this is not real, usko bhi you let him go. Because that person also is there in the form of I am the one giving up. The one who says I am giving up the sense of reality in all this, that person has also got the form, no, of I am the one who is giving up. Give up that fellow also. Then what are you left with? You are left with something which has no form at all, and therefore no location, no edge, no boundary, which is just infinite. Only infinite is left behind then, because anything which has a form is finite. So even that form, so that last sense of individuality which may be left, which will be saying that I am here as the one who is giving up, I am the renouncer, So even that sense of being the renouncer, you let it go. And then what is left? Still something is left. That which is left, when even that final, ultimate sense of individuality is its sense of reality is let go of, that is the reality. That's all it is. This is said because all of these things, including the giver, are a part of the creation. They are all Namarupa. You negate their absolute reality. When we say give them up, what does it mean? It only means negating their absolute reality, recognizing they are all dependent reality. There is no absolute reality in them. What do we mean by giving up? No, we don't give up anything. The giving up is giving up in the head, the sense of reality that we give to them. That this alone is reality, that sense of reality we let it go. So you give them up, meaning you negate their absolute reality. And then you come to the adhishtanam, the substratum. Yeah? Okay, any questions?
Adhishtanam is asti bhati priyam.
Yeah, Satchidananda.
Consciousness.
Yes, Sat, Chit, Ananda. Ananta. Satyam Jnanam Anantam. The need for repetition now continues to show the... Anita, you can read this part.
The need for repetition in teaching. The text now continues to show the contrary nature of the subject and object in several verses. This is the style of the Shastra. It does not just tell you one verse and assume that all is understood. Instead, it will give multiple statements and examples. So it becomes very firm in your mind. The idea must be properly planted in the mind. For example, if a wedding takes place in 15 minutes, it does not get firmly planted in a person's mind. He might feel, oh, are we really married? In India, a wedding lasts 7 days. So for 7 days, it is drilled into this fellow's mind and will remain there forever that this is my wife and I am her husband. So very true. Similarly, the conviction that there is ignorance and that whatever we are doing is because of ignorance must be firmly planted. That is why the same point is made in several verses.
Yes, now I'm going to make you listen to my song. I hope you'll be able to listen to it. There could be a problem. Okay, let's try. Let's see. You tell me if you hear anything, okay? अरे यार जाओ. कुछ सुन रहे हैं? नहीं ना? Okay.
नहीं अभी नहीं.
So I will have to do it differently. Okay, stop the share. I'll share it. I remember now that when I want to share something, then I have to say as background over the shoulder by the side. Okay. It used to come earlier, you know, that you want to share the sound, you know, but ये न्यू इसमें तो आ नहीं रहा है कि साउंड आपको सुनना है कि नहीं. Okay, I'll try. Let's see. You may not hear it still. Okay. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is coming in broken, you know.
Sound.
Broken sound. It's not there. No, it's not there.
Not there?
No.
Oh, so sad.
Little bit in the beginning.
It came.
Yeah, it came.
It's very beautiful song actually. Let me stop it. Otherwise, I will be disturbed. Okay. Yeah, this is very sad. I think maybe it's not allowing us anymore to share, you know, YouTube videos. Because with somebody else also I experienced that. It's not allowing. It's a very beautiful song. I will send it to you all. You must be hearing on Vedanta also. I put it. It is very beautiful song actually. Okay. That would have lightened this whole thing. Okay. Yeah. So we'll do the one more verse. Okay. Verse 18. Atma niyamakaschantaha
Atma niyamakaschantaha
Deho bahyo niyamyakaha
Deho bayo niyamyakaha
Tayoraikyam prapashyante
Teorekyam prapashyanti
Kimajnanamatah param.
Kimagyanam param.
Yes. So he says Atma, the self, Atma, I, Niyamakaha. He is the ruler. Okay. Whereas, what about Dehaha? and it is antaraha. Cha, and it is antaraha. It is internal. Internal to the Sanghata iti. Whereas dehaha bahyaha. It is external. Hmm? And it is niyamyakaha. It is that which is ruled. Iti. Tayoho, of these, aikyam, oneness. People are saying oneness in the ruler and the ruled. How can it be possible, iti? Tayoho, of both of them, people are saying oneness. Ekaha prapashyanti. Kim? What? Ignorance, This can be only ignorance. It can't be anything else. How can they see oneness between the ruler and the ruled? Iti karke. The author is lamenting. Iti. So, okay, now uncle, you want to read this? Atma is the ruler. I'll just read the meaning and then. The Atma is inside and a ruler, whereas the body is outside and is ruled. Some see the oneness of these two. What can be ignorance other than this? Iti.
But still it is there.
Still it is there. And because of not having the knowledge of the difference between the two, that's why it is there. The author wants to make the point that ignorance is there. Ignorance is a fact in our life. Iti. Okay. So, Uncle Ji, you can read this.
Atma is the ruler, body is the ruled. Atma is Nityanka. Niyamaka. Ruler. And it is Antar, internal. The Deha body is Bhaya, external, and Niyamak, ruled. The self is inside and is a ruler, whereas the body is outside and that is ruled. The ruler is with the reference to the ruled. So the ruler has to be different from the ruled. The ruler possesses knowledge, power, etc. And the ruled does not. In terms of the characteristics, then the ruler is quite different from the ruled. What is inside cannot be outside. Also. Internality is the one attribute and externality is another. Internality and externality cannot coexist at the same thing in the same time. There must also be a separation between the ruler and the ruled. Only there is a relationship between them.
Yeah.
Cannot be my own ruler. Ruler and the ruled cannot coexist in one location.
Yes.
They are in different locations and possess totally contradictory characteristics.
Yeah.
Even so, Tyor Nakyam Prapashyanti. Tyor Nakyam Prapashyanti. Some see Akyam, a oneness or identity. Tiyoho, these two.
Yeah.
Ekya means identity. Identity is possible when two entities are in the one locus. The ruler and the ruled are in different locations and cannot coexist in the same location. Therefore, they cannot be one. Yet we see them as one. So we are making the impossible possible. This Jiva Atma, individual, sees the self and the body, ruler and the ruled, as the one. Kim Ajnanam Ataha Param. What can be the ignorance other than that? In other words, this is ignorance.
Yeah. For me, the word ruler is interesting. I will take then that Atma here is being referred to as that inner divinity, Ishvara actually is the inner divinity. That in that sense, the ruler. Okay. Now, ignorance causes mutual identification. Now, same point is saying again. Ignorance is is going to cause this mutual identification. This is how ignorance plays out in our life. Ignorance causes mutual identification in which two are taken as one. The classic example, this is the best, is the fire and an iron ball. Old example. An iron ball is placed in a furnace and heated until it becomes red hot. Then we call it as a fireball and take it to be one entity, whereas they are in fact two entities, iron and fire. But these two look like one and are taken to be one. The fire pervades every grain of the iron, and you cannot distinguish between the two. You cannot say that the iron is here and the fire is there, because where the iron is, there is fire. That is how the two appear to be one. Also, on account of identification with iron, the formless fire seems to possess the round form of the iron, because it was an iron ball. So fire, which is formless, now looks like it is round. Similarly, iron is black in color and cold to touch, but because of iron's identification with fire, it seems to become red and hot. Once the fire goes away, the iron will again be black and cold. Iron as though acquires the attribute of fire, and fire as though acquires the attributes of iron, and what is in fact two appears as one. It is understandable that an uninitiated person may take it as one entity, a fireball. Anita, you read the next para.
Similarly, consciousness pervades the body. Consciousness is like fire and the body is like iron. The body is lifeless and inert, while consciousness is shining, self-revealing, and formless. Inertness and consciousness are totally contradictory attributes. But just as the fire makes the iron appear red and hot, consciousness makes this body mind sense complex appear sentient. Consciousness is as though infused here, and therefore the body becomes sentient, alive. The body by itself is dead matter. When the consciousness is withdrawn at the time of death, this body becomes what it really is. Back to its own this thing.
Just a mass
Just
of
a
flesh.
just a mass of flesh.
Flesh.
Flesh. It is made alive only because of association with consciousness.
Yeah, here when he makes the sentence, when the consciousness is withdrawn, internally we can understand it is when the reflected consciousness is withdrawn. Yeah, because consciousness cannot withdraw anywhere, it is all pervasive. How can consciousness withdraw from one place and not be never? It can't do that. But the reflected consciousness, we are talking about Sukshma Sharira. Okay? When the Sukshma Sharira withdraws from the body, okay.
Is it Chidabhas?
Chidabhas only. When the Chidabhas is withdrawn, meaning the Sukshma Sharira.
These two are confused as one due to tadatmya, identification. It is nobody's fault that the two are taken as one. The body appears to be sentient and therefore it is taken to be Atma. Formless consciousness has as though assumed a form. So it looks like it has the shape of the body, and I take myself put to be the shape of the body. This verse shows the total contradictory characteristics of
Niyamaka and Niyamya.
Niyamaka.
No, Niyamaka and Niyamya it should have been.
Niyamya. Ruler ruled, and Antarbaya, internal, external. The next verse shows more of the
Vailakshanya, contrariness between the two. So basically, he just wants to, put it into the head, that this is. So let me read a little bit of this. What is his name?
Akhanda?
Little bit. We have maybe 5 minutes. And this is from Atma Nishkalo Hyeka Deho Bahubira Vritaha, that one. जैसे धातु औषधि आदि की शोध प्रणाली होती है, वैसे ही आत्मा को भी शोध प्रणाली है। वह यह है कि सृष्टि के 2 विभाग कर लिए जाएं, पहला मैं और दूसरा वह सब जो यह के रूप में प्रतीत होता है। ओके, आई एंड दिस। संसार में जो कुछ यह के रूप में प्रतीत होता है वह मैं नहीं हूं, जो मैं के रूप में जान पड़ता है वह यह नहीं है। अब देखना चाहिए कि यह अनेक ही होता है, कभी एक नहीं होता। उसके विपरीत मैं अनेक नहीं होता, अनेकता के ज्ञाता का नाम मैं होता है। जो कुछ यज्ञ के रूप में जाना जाएगा वह जड़ होगा, उसको जानने वाला चेतन होगा। यह जड़ है और मैं चेतन हूं, यह परिवर्तनशील है और मैं अपरिवर्तनीय हूं। इस प्रकार इदम और अहम को पृथक पृथक करने की शैली ही आत्मज्ञान की शैली है। आत्मा शब्द के 4 अर्थ होते हैं। 1, जो देखता है, सुनता है, सूंघता है, बोलता है और छूता है, अर्थात जो शब्द स्पर्श रूप रस गंध आदि विषयों का अनुभव करता है वह आत्मा है। हम अपना गोरा काला रंग, दुबला मोटापन, मन की शांति अशांति आदि तो पहचानते हैं, किंतु जो सबसे भीतर रहकर इन सब को पहचानता है उसे नहीं पहचानते, वही आत्मा है। इंद्रियों के द्वारा 2, इंद्रियों के द्वारा शब्द स्पर्श रूप रस गंध का ग्रहण न करते हुए भी स्वप्न में इन सब विषयों की स्वयं कल्पना करके इनका अनुभव करने वाला आत्मा है। जागृत का संस्कार ग्रहण करके जो स्वप्न देखता है वह जागृत स्वप्न दोनों से सूक्ष्म है। मनुष्य जागृत के समान ही स्वप्न में भी काम क्रोध लोभ भय मोह आदि से प्रेरित होता रहता है, किंतु स्वप्न में जो दिखाई देता है वह तुम नहीं हो, जो स्वप्न देखता है वह तुम हो। 3, सुषुप्ति में जिस जागृत स्वप्न का न होना ज्ञात होता है वह आत्मा है। हम अवस्था में एक विशेषता यह है इस अवस्था में एक विशेषता यह है कि संसार का कोई भोग, कोई वस्तु न रहने पर भी आराम रहता है, बड़े सुख से सोए यह अनुभव होता है। जागृत में हम केवल विद्यमान पदार्थों को देखते हैं और उनसे अपना सुख दुख मानते हैं। स्वप्न में हम ही पदार्थों को बनाते हैं और उन पदार्थों से सुख दुख भी मानते हैं। जागृत में सद्वासना रहे तो स्वप्न में स्वर्ग का सुख मिल सकता है। यदि अभ्यास करके जागृत में सुषुप्ति जैसी अवस्था बना ली जाए तो समाधि सिद्ध हो जाती है। यह जो सुषुप्ति का अनुभव करता है वही आत्मा है। जागृत स्वप्न सुषुप्ति तीनों अवस्थाओं में जो एक रहता है, जो इन तीनों अवस्थाओं का अनुभव करने वाला है वह मैं है, यही आत्मा है। यह आत्मा विनिष्कल है, काल कला है, काल कला है, आयु के रूप में पृथ्वी कला, मिट्टी के रूप में जल कला, रक्त के रूप में अग्नि कला, उष्णता के रूप में वायु कला, श्वास के रूप में और आकाश कला अवकाश के रूप में देह में है, देह में ही है। आत्मा में कोई कला नहीं है, आत्मा कलाओं से विनिष्क्रांत है। दिस वॉज वेरी नाइस। देह कण कण से बना है, यह तो घट है अर्थात घड़ा गया है। यदि हम अपने को घट समझते हैं तब तो उसमें कभी गंगा जल भरा जाएगा तो कभी शराब भी, कभी वह फूटेगा भी। यदि अपने को घट न समझकर शुद्ध मिट्टी ही समझ ले तो प्रत्येक शरीर के भिन्न तत्व का भेद मिट जाएगा। हम चेतन व्यक्ति नहीं, चेतन तत्व है। जड़ देह का जन्म मरण होता है, लोक लोकांतर में व्यक्ति जाता है। चेतन तत्व एकरस होता रहता है। जन्म मरण, दीनता हीनता, पाप पुण्य इस देह को मैं मानने से ही प्राप्त हुए हैं। अपने को चेतन तत्व माना जाए तो व्यक्तित्व का दुख मिट जाएगा। आत्मा कण कण कला कला नहीं है, यह एक चैतन्य तत्व है। यदि आत्मा में कला होगी तो वह भी जानी जाएगी, तब वह अनात्मा होगी। अतः आत्मा में कला का होना संभव नहीं है। जस्ट लिटिल बिट मोर। देह बहुभिरावृतः, देह तो प्याज के समान है, छिलके पर छिलका उतरता चले आ जाओ, एक पर एक पर्दे चढ़े हैं, इनको उतारते जाओ तो वह शेष रहेगा जो सबका दृष्टा है। इस देह को मैं मानकर शुद्ध चैतन्य हड्डी मांस भेद मज्जा स्नायु चर्म रक्त कफ मल मूत्र बन गया। पापी पुण्यात्मा दीनहीन रागी द्वेषी हो गया। इसलिए तो पशुवत भूत वैशसम, पशुओं के समान परस्पर शत्रुता करने लगा। इस अनेक तत्वों से बने देह को जो मैं समझता है, इससे बड़ा अज्ञान भला क्या होगा। देह को मैं समझना पीतल को स्वर्ण समझना है, और आत्मा को देह समझना स्वर्ण को पीतल समझना है। यह बहुत गंदा मेल है, इसी कारण स्वर्ग नरक जाना पड़ता है। अतः देह से अपने मैं को नहीं मिलाना चाहिए। नाइस ना?
वेरी गुड,
वेरी नाइस। नेक्स्ट वर्स फिर बाद में देखेंगे। ओके। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।
Thank you, Guruma. Thank you so much.
thank you very much, Guruma.
Om Narayana.